we interrupt this program to bring you these astonishing images. For the first time, astronauts from Earth have successfully landed on Mars. This really is an incredible moment for the whole world. Later tonight,
Hello good peeps, Sammy here, and thank you for checking out this video, which is my review on Earth vs Mars, developed by Relic Entertainment, specifically their Relic Labs department underneath the Relic Entertainment umbrella. More on that in a second. But first, if you're not really familiar with this type of genre for this video game, then allow me to give you the brief overview on what this game has to offer. Earth vs Mars is a grid-style, turn-based, tactical strategy game where you'll be sending multiple different types of units across a tile-based map within a war-driven theme. If you think Final Fantasy Tactics or XCOM 2, for example, those are two games which share the same primary gameplay loop of Earth vs Mars. But of course there is another game that was released back on the Nintendo DS back in the day that this game draws very heavy inspiration from, and of course I'm talking about Advance Wars. And let me tell you that I was a big Advance Wars fan back in the day, and it just so happens that I have had a huge Advance Wars itch that has been wanting to be scratched for such a long time. While I am very aware that Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp is available on Nintendo Switch, Earth vs Mars serves a purpose for those who don't have a Nintendo Switch and is also available for a fraction of the price. So there's me hoping that Earth vs Mars scratches that itch. Does it scratch that itch? It absolutely scratches that itch. Before we get into the specifics and the whatnots and the hoo-has about this game, feel free to drop a like and subscribe on this channel. It would really help the channel out, so thank you very much in advance. Also, I'd like to extend a special thanks to Relic Entertainment for providing me with a code for this game to review it. So I did receive this game for free, just for your information. And for those of you who don't know who Relic Entertainment are exactly, their most noteworthy projects in the past would be Company of Heroes, Warhammer Dawn of War, and of course Age of Empires 4. But since Relic parted ways with Sega back in 2024, becoming an independent studio creating the Relic Labs banner, Earth vs Mars is their first game since becoming independent, and it feels a bit more of a smaller project compared to their other projects in the past. In other words, this is their first game that really feels indie. So despite the fact that Relic Entertainment used to be owned by a big corporation in Sega, I'd say this game definitely counts as an indie game, which is great because I only cover indie games on this channel. The first thing you'll notice about Earth vs Mars are the cartoonish styled graphics, which are very similar to the Advance Wars series, which we mentioned before. Other similarities between these two games, I would say the unit types are quite similar, which we'll get into very shortly, as well as the famous battle cutscenes in Advance Wars, which you have every single time your units face off against enemy units. The general premise of this game is that Martians from Mars are invading Earth in order to claim the planet for themselves. Previous to this, they had already been visiting Earth for decades, abducting animals and humans in order to create their own Martian/creature hybrids by harvesting their atomic essence. At the beginning of the campaign, you yourself start to use this method to create your own hybrid super soldiers via the Splicetron. This enables you to inject a variety of animal DNA into volunteers, after which you can splice animal parts into their bodies, giving them special stats and abilities when you use them in missions. For example, splicing a rhino's head onto a volunteer's body will give them an ability called Stampede, which knocks an enemy unit back several tiles. Splicing eagle wings onto a volunteer enables them to fly, or splicing cheetah legs onto a volunteer allows them to move quicker and increases movement range. You get the idea. The Splicetron is very much what sets Earth vs Mars apart from other Advance Wars likes, and I had a lot of fun splicing together my own freaks of nature in a bid to save the Earth. Especially when I saved up enough Marsonium, in-game currency, which can be earned through completing missions to unlock additional DNA slots on my volunteers. So now I can have a super soldier with the head of a bear, the tail of a gecko, and the wings of an eagle, all offering me an array of stats and abilities. Speaking of the campaign missions, you will typically be completing HQ capture missions and eliminating the enemy units missions, but you will also have a variety of other missions helping the campaign stay fresh, such as city capture missions, evacuating civilian missions, item collecting missions, and survive a number of round-based missions, just to name a few. The dialogue sequences between your comrades are all fully voiced and fairly light-hearted and fit the overall vibe of the game, but are generally nothing really to write home about. They do, however, offer a bit of respite between missions to give you a breather. During these sections you can also purchase upgrades such as commander abilities to give you a helping hand in missions, or better unit stats, for example with your hard-earned Marzonium. The 4 difficulty options range from easy to extreme and can be changed before you start each mission, which is a nice touch, especially if one of the missions feels too tough. And believe me, some of the later missions will feel tough. There are over 30 missions to get your teeth into in the campaign alone, some of which can go on for a very long time depending on how things unfold, and it's for this reason that I can't really tell you how long the campaign will take. If these tactical strategy games are familiar to you, then the unit types will also feel quite familiar too. They range from infantry, tanks, artillery, and air units to fight alongside the previously mentioned Splice units. Like other tactics games, you should try to utilise which units will do well against other units. For example, infantry units don't do too well against tanks, but they do quite well against rocket launcher units, and rocket launcher units, conversely, will do quite well against tanks, but not infantry units. You get the idea. It's kind of a rock, paper, scissors type scenario going on. The good news is that Earth vs Mars does not overcomplicate this, and the UI is laid out exceptionally, making it user-friendly enough for newcomers of this genre, and it is squeaky clean. Okay, in fear of spoiling the story too much, let's go over what else Earth vs Mars has to offer. As well as the campaign, players can create their own skirmishes using a variety of environments, such as lush green fields, harsh deserts, or water-based maps. The victory conditions can also be altered to suit your playstyle, and fog of war can be turned on or off, because there are some people out there who do not like the fog of war. The game also offers a challenge mode where players can compete against AI in an array of different challenges and unique conditions. One example would be having to hold out for a number of rounds on a specific map. There is also an online multiplayer mode where you can play against a friend or a stranger, but sadly every time I've either looked for a game to join or have hosted my own, there hasn't been anyone else playing. Hopefully in the future, when more people have the game, that will no longer be much of an issue. With that said, if you want to 1v1 me on Earth vs Mars, let me know in the comments. Another feature the game has to offer, which is becoming a key feature with these kind of games, is its own map editor. If you get tired of the maps on offer in the single player modes, you have free roam to create your own, upload them to the game servers, and even download other players' maps that you like the look of. The maps you upload or download will have the victory conditions set by their creator and offer extended replay value on an already complete game. And for the asking price of £11.99 on Steam, you can hardly complain. Like I said at the beginning of this video, Earth vs Mars really scratches the Advance Wars itch that has been lingering for such a long time within me now. And if you were just a little bit of a fan of Advance Wars back in the day, I highly recommend you check out this game because you will not be disappointed. It's not very expensive, it's on Steam, and I've actually left a link in the description as to where you can find it on Steam because I genuinely hope that it gets a lot more support, because I feel like, not just because I want to 1v1 you at this game, but I feel like this game really does deserve the support it's warranted. Speaking of support, the game's latest patch has enabled controller support, so if you prefer to play this kind of game with a controller, you can absolutely do so right now. And if you're still on the fence about this game after watching this grade A expertly crafted review, you can try their demo, which is available on their Steam page too. And with that, that is the review, peeps. If you've made it this far into the video, I just want to say thank you very much indeed for watching, and feel free to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I would massively appreciate that. Thank you for your time, and I'll catch you again next time with another video. Take care of yourselves.